morning, guys. It's April 8th, around 6:20 Colorado time, and it's day two. It's day two, and honestly, I'm doing good. I feel pretty good. I did end up walking 2 miles yesterday. Um, I was thinking, I was thinking of something my high school cross country coach said. Coach Kravig. He said that it's not about the competitions that reflect in life, that teach you lessons in life. It's the practices. And I've been thinking critically of that ever since. Now, I shouldn't say critically, but I've taken a lot of inspiration from that. And I think it means that no matter where you're at in life, you you have to have a young heart, you know. And I'm not saying don't try and be a man. And then, you know what? I don't think being a man doesn't mean you have to be unhappy. Unhappy a lot, but I guess I don't have a wife and kids, so I can't speak on that. To me, I think being a man is being a father, but we'll see down the road if I have kids, if I get that special someone. But no, this is day two of the podcast, and um, I think that saying meant keep a young heart. Every workout you do is another high school cross country practice. Every day at work that you get up is you're taking accountability, you're fulfilling your obligations. And the past couple of years, I've been doing a pretty bad, poor job of that. But I just gotta say that I have hope. You know, there's hope now. Um, this time with my grandparents and going to school online, not having to worry about a job is has been a real blessing. But I always think, man, how is anyone ever gonna respect me if I just have my college paid for and um, which I probably would have never been able to do anyway. I never was able to save money. But how will people look at me if they knew that you know what I'm saying, that that it was given to me, that my success was given to me. And I think this weight loss journey will um, self respect. You know, it's about self respect. I want to look back 5 years from now and be like, yeah, I did that. And I hope these podcasts don't stop after I lose the weight. But it's going to be a long journey to lose the weight. This morning I did a 1.5 mile run, 1.6 miles, and so a little more than half, and then a minute plank. And that's it. Just consistency. I want to string these together so I have um I could these will help me remember the journey. And like I said in my books, like um saying what's on your mind, and through music or through podcasts. You know, I think podcasts are a little bit better because in music, you tend to, at least in the hip hop world, you tend to get a little bit nasty with your lyrics and um, look towards sensation and just worldly things, I guess. And I've been thinking about God lately too, like, because I have prayed to Jesus before, and um, it's not like those prayers were unanswered. They kind of came true, and I think I'm keeping an open mind for sure. So it's April 8th. I got an app on my phone called, I think it's just called Workout. I put workout motivation. Uh, Searched it on the App Store on my iPhone, and this app came up, and it's a calendar. It's a calendar where you don't have to worry about just little things. It's simple. Um, you could have a schedule, and you don't have to go through all the nooks and crannies of just the Apple calendar. It's a lot easier to program than that. And so I put my workout regimen in there, and I got the first few months planned out. As I go on, I'll add more and more workouts. But there was a time in my life when I was doing 5 minute planks. You know, I see people posting like a minute doesn't seem that long in life, but if you hold a plank for a minute, it seems a lot longer. And that could be said of a basketball game. The March Madness was yesterday. I was going for Florida, although I wouldn't mind seeing Houston win, given that they never won the national championship before. But Florida ended up pulling it off. I was kind of surprised that they pulled it off there at the end, but no, me and my grandparents were rooting for them. Let's see how much time we have here. Okay, we're at 8 minutes. The last one I did yesterday was 21 minutes, and I I didn't even realize I didn't have my microphone mic on. I was using my camera mic, my HD camera mic up there, and no, I think this will be, if I keep doing these podcasts, it'll motivate me to get up in the morning and get after it, because unlike Dave Goggins, I like hearing myself talk, you know, obviously. So I did an audiobook of my own story that I wrote, and actually two stories. And I've been doing a lot of music over the past few years. Um, and they've been therapeutic, but too much of one thing is never a good thing. Uh, I'd say that about a lot of things, you know. I think music was, I was putting too much bad things in my music. Just not setting a good example, and that's also why I took the audiobook down, or the God's will down, because I'm not God, and I was portraying it as if I was. But yeah, try to keep it. I think 21 minutes is way too long for a single podcast episode when I'm talking, because uh I'm obviously pretty new to podcast world, and I'm not good at just talking off the top of my head. Some days, but yeah, I won't go into any deep religious God God talk, but um, no, I want to say again that when I was happiest, I don't want to sound like a broken record when I'm doing these either. But when I was happiest in life, I was fit. I was running. My only hobby was working out. I was donating to charity every month because I was probably only bringing in um, maybe 2,000 $2,500 a month when I was working at the shop full time, and working out, it was my only hobby. And my rent was whatever, $700 a month, and so I would scrape up $100 a month to donate to charity. And my parents were like, "Don't do that. Like, you're not in the place to give." And I don't believe that. Well, ever since I've had my psychotic break, and things have turned for the worse in the bipolar direction, schizoaffective direction. I haven't been donating to charity. I've been using my money selfishly for myself, and I don't have a source of income right now. Even though I got this keyboard and these studio monitors and this laptop, but um, I think I need to get after it. I think we need to get after it. I know somewhere, I know somewhere, probably even earlier. For a fact, I know earlier that Goggins is getting after it, and that guy he's been such a inspiration, and um, I'm I'll never throw shade on David Goggins because he he's the pinnacle, and um, but you know what? Even what he said is like, don't put anyone on the pedestal. Don't put anyone on a pedestal because they're human. He's only human. He shared his whole story, fucked up childhood, and losing 300 pounds and getting lean twice in his life. That's crazy in itself, and let alone Navy SEAL status. Man, I can't even imagine. I cannot even imagine. Thought about joining the Marines once, or enlisting. They came up with a commercial recently that was like, um, because you don't just join the Marines, um, you become one. You become one. You make yourself into a Marine. And I thought that was pretty cool, but I also think it was kind of a self. I don't know if it's just my schizoaffective or my God complex, but I felt like it was directed at me because the God's Will book was about enlisting, and if I enlisted, then I was God. If I didn't, then I was the devil, and I would go to hell and be banished by God, and all this just delusional thinking. But because I said joining the Marines, and that if you join, you're never going to join, or I, I'm just saying that wrong, but just the prophecy I said in the book was about joining the Marines and not enlisting or becoming one. So I take that back now. If you enlist, you're gonna have to become a Marine because it's not a given. Definitely not a given. And I've had big dreams. I've always in my heart, or in my mind, I've always dreamed about becoming an Ironman. Um, uh, Not just the um 70.6, I think it is. Um, no, 70.3. 140.6 is the full Ironman. And no, probably when I was a triathlete, I was in the best shape of my life. Um, that's debatable. You get into different sports, you're using different muscles, and um, when I was after I got back home from college that one year, I don't know, I was full of testosterone and piss and vinegar, and I was working out really hard, and my pelvic floor was so tight. I don't want to get into sexual stuff, but I just wanted the satisfaction of busting big nuts every night. You know what I mean? It's like that song. I think it's 1944, or uh, I'm pretty sure it's 1944 by G Easy and I don't want to sound racist, but some black dude, maybe Gucci Mane, or I could look it up right now. That'll take a little bit of time. Skipping school to get my sack right. That's what he says in there. That's what the black guy says. Uh, I could relate to that. Skipping school for the pleasure, and that I never went back. You know, I just I didn't feel like film was my gig, even though that was kind of my dream too. Like doing film. I was the boom operator for a lot of the sets, but I wanted to be more than that. I wanted to be a director. I wanted to direct my own movie, man. But like that was gonna take years. But honestly, I would have been satisfied with working at the shop and um, just being the stud I was until I until I reached the Ironman status. Just doing a big race like that. But um, I I don't know. In my heart, I want to believe there's a God. I want to believe there's a God out there, and if there is a God, he's been really good to me. Really good to me. I've always been hard on myself. Hard on myself. Uh, Not as far as mental toughness, but just as far as like beating myself up. Just caring what too much about what people think of me, and I gotta stop doing that. You know, like last night I was changing my cover pick, and I was changing my cover pick on Facebook, and it took me a good half an hour, 45 minutes. By the time he knew it, it was 11 o'clock, and it's like, Dan, I need to go to sleep. I need to go to sleep. You get it back up the next morning. Um, I think it's called Wake Uppy. Wake Uppy is the what the app is called. Um, but it just slowly gets louder and louder and is vibrating like crazy. It gives you like multiple notifications and it just goes off. And that's what got me up this morning. It's crazy. I put my phone on the desk so it's far enough away from my bed that I have to get up and turn off the alarm. I even have to shake it a couple times. That's what the app does. And then I sit down and I just try to get limbered up. And then I start my day. But I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. Um, it's good getting my thoughts out and sharing it with you guys. Um, and feel free to leave comments or reach out to me. You know, uh, Tyler George Elka on Facebook, Crazy Heart Beats on Instagram. Although I deleted those apps so I don't have social media. But maybe don't reach out. Maybe don't reach out. I don't know. It just depends. I gotta stop caring what other people think about me. But I'm gonna go around in circles if I keep on talking. So, thank you so much, you guys, for listening, and cheers. Have a good day.